Alright guys, so today we'll be working on a Samsung NP300E 5C. This one needs a DC jack replacement. Show you all right quick. Let me go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see what we're looking at. Alright, there it is. It's damaged. Got the new piece right here. That's what it's supposed to look like. So let's go ahead and get started. Zoom out so that we're not too tight on there. Alright, first things first, we're going to be removing, let me get this. Alright, there we go. Let me get it to focus. Alright, cool. So we got to remove 13 screws from the bottom panel, the bottom case. First, we're going to start off with removing, this one isn't included in the 13, but you remove this screw, slide this down, you can go ahead and remove this whole panel out. And this just houses the hard drive, the screw for the optical drive, which is right here. It's labeled by ODD, optical disk drive. Okay, so then you slide that out just by sliding it out. Okay, set that aside. Then we have, the hard drive has 4 screws. The one on the top left here, if you have the battery away from you, is a larger Phillips head. The 3 other ones are, according to this, the driver bit that this set came with, it's a 1.5. It's pretty damn skinny. Okay, once we get those screws out, we can just lift this up away from the tab. And be careful because there's 2 tabs that keep the hard drive from sliding. Then you just unplug the cord that goes to the motherboard. Set this aside. Then we will put this there. Then we'll remove the battery. Okay, so there's just slide the tabs. And they both lock, which is really nice. They both stay so that you can just slide it out, which is awesome. Okay, so then after that, then we're going to go ahead and remove the 13 screws, and then there's 2 screws here. So I don't remember if I included those 2 little silver ones in the count or not. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and remove those. There's actually 13 plus these 2 silver ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, get those screws out, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so now that we have the screws out, we're going to remove the bottom case. On this computer, the bottom case is the part that comes out. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to prop it open like that so that it stays up, so you guys can hopefully see what I'm doing. Should be able to see exactly here where I'm going to be prying open. I'm using a metal pry tool, and I'm just going to go in right into the gap there, into the spacing, and then start prying this apart. Okay. Then we move along. Now this computer on the side has a cracked vent for the heatsink. So we're just going to keep on going, and then just simply. And what I'm doing is I create tension by prying it open, and then all you have to do is really just stick your pry tool and gently move it, and then you'll be able to remove the bottom case. Let me just set this aside, and then this will expose the motherboard, which is held down by 4 screws. So the thing that we have to do is we have to remove the Wi-Fi antennas, and this is the ribbon cable for the keyboard. Just grab it with the tweezers and pull it out. And we have the speakers plugged in right here. So move that out of the way. Unconnect, or I'm sorry, not unconnect, that's stupid. Disconnect the fan. Remove the 2 screws that hold the fan. Move that out of the way. Okay, now that we have the fan out of the way, we can undo the connection that goes to the USB ports on the side here. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, good. Alright, so this goes there, so we just unplug it. unplug the hard drive connector. Then we have another connection here to the touchpad. So undo that ribbon cable there, just by sliding it out. Okay, so now that we have that, we have an LVDS cable back here. Just lift it up and set that aside. Now we have the 4 screws for the heatsink. I'm going to remove that because I'm going to be cleaning it out to put some new thermal compound on there. So we'll go ahead and remove this. And the motherboard is held down by 4 screws. Set that aside. We have 4 screws. One on the back over here by the DC jack. One over by the battery terminal. One by your connector to your ribbon cable for your touchpad, and then one over by the RAM. Now, these are marked with 2 black triangles on the motherboard. Okay, so then once we remove that, we are now able to simply lift and remove the motherboard out of the way. We'll set that down, remove that, and then since I'm going to be using some heat, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this up and move it aside like this. I don't want to melt it. So make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. And let's see, we got the DC jack right here, so we'll be zooming in on that. Alright, hold on. There we go. Maybe, I don't know. Let me put a piece of paper or something down so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. Get some printer paper. Hopefully this will make it easier for my phone to focus on. Or not. So zoom out a little bit. Holy shit. Excuse my language, but that is terrible focusing. Okay, that's a little bit better. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm not gonna bother trying to get it perfect. Turn on my rework station. We're gonna be using hot air. Okay, so let's see. Gonna let that warm up. And we're gonna be removing this here, so let me get some I'll be putting some thermal, or not thermal compound, what the hell am I talking about? Some flux down to help remove this here. Hopefully that'll make it flow a little bit better. Okay, so now set that aside. Should be hot enough to get it off. Okay, so let's see. We'll be using my tweezers as well. And what I'm doing is with this hand that I'm using the tweezers, I am holding the motherboard down. It's starting to flow now. And yes, of course, the paper's gonna burn, so. Alright, so that is all taken care of. So now let's get my soldering iron. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna try to clean the holes here. Add a little bit of flux. Or not flux, but solder. Throw some solder on here. And let this warm up. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the new part and we're just going to do the same thing, just flow it right in this place there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to open up the gaps here, and then I'm going to do it by hand. If this thing ever freaking warms up, it takes forever. That's what you get when you buy not the best equipment, but still works. It just takes a little while to heat up. let me go ahead and pause the video while I wait for this thing to heat up. Alright, so this thing finally decided to warm up. Tested it on cleaning one of the pads here. We're just going to go ahead and clean them. See here, see if it still wants to keep working. This has been acting up lately. Might be time to buy a new soldering iron here. All right. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so cleaning them is not going to work that great, so let's throw. This soldering iron is just a piece of garbage. Oh man, so irritating. I swear my oldest, cheapest stuff worked a lot better than this crap. Alright, let's see if this works a little bit better just by warming it up. And of course my paper's going to start burning, so that's always the thing. Clean this off. Where is... Now that it's clean, now I can actually see what the heck is going on. Okay, so put that aside. Alright, new piece. Alright, so maybe I can get her to work. That damn soldering iron is a piece of garbage, so alright, I'm going to pause it again. I'm going to try to switch the tips on my soldering iron and see if that'll work better. I don't know what's going on. Time for a new one. Alright, so I've decided that we're just going to... Let me see if you guys can see what I'm doing over here. Nope. Okay, so... forgot to press record. I got it to sit and actually work. I used the hot air. What I did is I placed the DC jack, still hot. I've just placed it on there loosely. Came from underneath, warmed it up, and it started flowing the solder at the bottom, and then I hung it off the edge of my desk. Then I applied heat at the top and pushed down with my tweezers, and it sat really, really nicely. So now that that is in there, we're gonna finish by adding some solder to the joints here. So, man, my table's hot. So we'll be adding solder to that. Let me go ahead and get my tip tinned. Clean it off real quick, and then let's add some more. So let's tin it, and then apply some heat. I'm just putting solder on there so that it transfers the heat. There it goes. Okay, let me add just a little bit of this. Just a tiny bit. Since it's hot, it flows really easily in there, so. And then now I just come in, touch the leg here. And there it is. So now let's just go ahead and do the 3 in the back. Let's add a little bit of the flux. And I am adding just a little bit. Oh, that's too much. I just want to. Since the board is still warm, the flux is just melting right into it, so it flows really nice in there. Alright, so now just go in here. Okay, and then come over on this side here. And then we have 2 on this side here on the inside in between the Ethernet port. Okay, let me get a little bit of flux in there. Just a little bit. This tip is cooling down. I don't know why the hell it's cooling down. It's making me quite upset. There we go. All of a sudden it decided to start flowing again. I don't get it. Oh, that one looked like it had enough solder on there to. All right, that does it. I'll just flip it over just to make sure that it went through. Some areas it did, some it didn't, so let's go ahead and I'll take care of that right now. Okay. Straighten this. All right. Flowing a lot nicer down here now. Perfect. All right. Let's get this piece of paper out of the way. Throw that down there. All right. Now, just gonna clean it a little bit. I didn't put too much flux, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Okay. All right. There we go. Back over there. And then let's clean off the processor. This is a different corner of the rag. I'm not using what I cleaned off the flux with. That'd be kind of stupid. Just dry area over here. All right. Get the heatsink. Get that out of the way. And let's clean this off here. Alright, perfect. Came out nice. Cool. Set that aside, and now we're going to put it all back together. So I'll grab... Let me go ahead and put this back down. And we'll adjust the zoom on the... Alright. There we go. Should be good. Already forgot how it was oriented. Alright, so then we just line this up here. Perfect. Then I'm gonna connect all the ribbon cables because I don't have to put the 4 screws in order for the ribbon cables to go in. So start off with the keyboard. It's just what I'm starting off with here. Lock that in. Wi-Fi antennas. Speaker. USB ports. Hard drive. Touchpad. And then next will be the fan. We'll put that in after we put the heatsink on. And then compound. And what I'm doing is I'm just tightening them just so that they bite into their groove. I'm just finishing them off in order 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, I like to do it that way. I see the numbers, I do it that way. That's just how I work. Now, fan. Remember we got 2 screws. Plug it in. grab the 2 screws. Put those back. Now we have the 4 screws for the motherboard. One over here. And then I always like to check the hinges. I don't like to give customers their computers back if the hinges are loose or whatever. I'm already in here, so I might as well take care of it. Then we have the 2 screws up front. Alright, so that is it. Now, we can put the bottom case back on. Start snapping it in. And all you have to do is just push. Alright, and then down here we have the part that's the grill that is broken, so we have to maneuver it around so that we can snap it into place the way it goes. I don't want to, it's already broken, but I don't want to have to, you know, break any more pieces than what is already gone. There we go. Alright, so it's all snapped in. Okay. Now we just have to put the hard drive. We have to put the optical drive. Get my hand out of the damn way. So let's do the hard drive. So the hard drive, plug in the, get the connector in there, line up the peg, and drop it in there like that. Get the big screw in there. And this and the optical drive are the only things that I'm going to show you on camera that I'm screwing back in. Everything else, it's a lot of screws. I don't want to waste all my time. I already wasted a lot of time with the trying to get the damn DC jack off the board. My stupid soldering iron wasn't heating up. Not the computer's fault. My equipment just needs to be replaced now. So no biggie. Eventually it'll get done. So then we slide this back in there, and then this has to not go all the way in. Actually has to come out just a tiny bit, and you can tell by looking into the screw hole. Once the screw is lined up, boom, that's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to get too crazy with it. Put the 2 screws that go under the battery. Then put the screws that go under the cover here, which is a total of, how many do I have in here? 4? Or 5? It is 5. There are 5 of them that go in here. Damn it, if I can. Got 2 more to go. Make sure that these are nice and snug. Don't over tighten them, but just get them snug. Actually, there's 6. I just forgot. There's one to the right over by the memory here. One more. And then we'll slide that cover on. And since I already put the ones that go under the battery, just slide the battery in. It's locked. So, got the 1 screw. Get that to drop down. Lock it in. Perfect. Alright, cool. So now we just have a total of 7 screws left to go. I'll just kind of start them with you on the video and then we'll just cut it. Actually, I'll have to pause it. I'll have to find a DC jack. Or not a DC jack, but a power supply for the computer. Hopefully they gave me one in the bag. But there you go. So there's this one, these 3, and one over here. So those are the 5 that are left. I will pause it and come back to turn it on. Alright guys, so now let's go ahead and see if this turns on or if it charges. So let's see, moment of truth. These will light up if it's gonna turn on. All right, we got an orange light. Let me see if you guys can see that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not in the video. Let me turn off the light. Let me try to first focus. Okay. As you can see, orange light. And then power. Awesome. So, successful repair. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you out. I did it with my rework station, the little hot air gun. It worked a lot easier than with the soldering iron. It just works so much better than using the iron. Alright, so I hope this helps. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Comment, like it, critique it. Anything helps. Thank you guys.